everyone, welcome to a new video on the channel and welcome to the first round of the TBR Spinner Wheel. So if you've been around on my channel for a few years, I used to actually share my TBR vending machine game every month and then share my monthly TBR with you as well. I think over 2025 it was just something that I did not keep up with. And I sort of went lax on it in 2024 when my mum got sick. So it's something that I want to bring back to the channel and also explain why we're going with a spinner wheel very quickly. Over on Instagram, if you follow me there, you would know. However, the TBR vending machine broke earlier in the year. I pulled it apart, fixed it. There was like this screw that it goes into, and the plastic was just a little loose around it. Well, unfortunately it broke again and I went, right, it needs to be retired. So I initially wanted to do capsule balls, but just the logistics of it just wasn't working out. I did buy a cheaper version of a capsule ball thing with one of the cardboard boxes and it didn't work out. So we went with the spinner wheel instead. And so here I am. I've used the laminator to go ahead and laminate all the prompts. My friend and I, who I live with, used the TBR vending machine together, so we're using the spinner wheel together. We sat down, had a little meeting. It was quite official, and came up with 60 prompts that we thought would be beneficial to focus on in 2026. Both of us read very different types of books, and so we wanted to make sure that the prompts were not limiting, and also just wanted to refresh the list because for a few years now we've just sort of copied the same ones over. There are a small few that we kept, but we did change up a majority of them, and so I decided that I would laminate them all and then we would use Velcro to stick it to the spinner wheel. Now the spinner wheel isn't the most sturdiest of things, I will admit. It's a bit plasticky, but it does the job and I'm really looking forward to playing this game with you all. So this portion here is just the setup of it. I will have a timestamp for when the actual game starts being played if you want to just jump ahead to that. But essentially, it was a lot of work to set this up in the beginning. However, I just put on an audiobook and had a really good time, and just cut out a whole bunch of Velcro. So the Velcro that's on the spinner wheel is all one type, and then on the backs of every prompt is the opposite, so they'll stick together. And there was a lot of little bits of paper backing that I had to get rid of after this venture, but it was just a really easy sort of could clock out and just focus on my book type of craft, which I really appreciated. So here is the blessed 𝓤𝓮𝓷𝓽𝓮 prompt working its way through the entire board, or spinner wheel I should say, and then I spent a long time cutting out bits of Velcro. I save you the hassle of watching me cut every single piece though, and then we move into putting every single piece of those Velcro onto the back of each prompt. So like I said, there's 60 of them, and I just let my audiobook guide me through it. Didn't take me too long actually. And then on the next day, I got to play it. So here is when I was finally finished with all of that, me just testing it out to make sure that they all fit on. Some of the thicker prompts that have 2 lines, some of them are going to go over into the other colors, but overall I'm really happy with how the prompts look on the board. You can read them. I'm really pleased with everything and how it worked out, and then obviously I just had to test it, but on this weird angle for you all. And now we're going to go into the real footage that I've already got a voice connected to it, so I'll see you there.
Okay, so I went ahead and made all the prompts, and we've got the board here now covered with all the Velcro. I'm trying to stand over this way because it is quite glary, and I keep getting caught in this, so that's kind of distracting. So we've got a bag full of all the prompts here. I'm hoping that I could utilize a coloured bag or like something like, I've got this, but it's way too big to use. So something like one of these like coloured facts, so then we can't even tell. But basically that would be kind of cool because then you can't see the prompts. But for today we don't have something that small. So perhaps we could use a container that's clear, but again, we're just going to go with this and just stick 10 on the board today. And the plan will be when we run out, or like when we the plan will be when we say it lands on repeat offender today, then I would remove that and replace it straight away. So the board will always have 10 prompts on it. So I'm trying not to look at the bag while I do this, and I'm also trying to grab some of the bigger ones as well, because we just keep grabbing the little ones. So it works. That one obviously is going to go over into the, trying to get it to all fit on the board was a bit of a mission. We've already got Kindle, TBR and KU. Oh well, I've chosen it, so we'll just keep going around and fill up the board. Just pulling them all out. Two more. Okay, so we've got the first game's 10 prompts on there, and like I said, we'll just have this bag off to the side here, and every time one is chosen we just replace it straight away. So it could be these 10 prompts today that all get picked and the new ones that go on don't get chosen, or it could be a new one from the back. So for the plan for 2026, since the TBR vending machine broke, we are now looking at using the spinner wheel, and the spinner wheel has 10 spots on it, and obviously it's very self-explanatory. Spin the wheel, whatever it lands on is the prompt that gets chosen. I'm going to be replacing the prompts as we go, and if that gets chosen, cool. If not, it will be one of these 10 here, and I'm going to be picking 5 prompts each month. So without any more fanfare, let's just start the game. Now this is a little bit wobbly, as you can see, so what I'm going to end up doing is taking this off the desk so I can reach in first. So what I'm going to be doing is holding the board here and then spinning. So first prompt will be recommended author. So I have to get a friend to recommend me an author. That will be fun. Okay, we'll replace the prompt straight away with another one. And the new one going on the board is diverse read. Okay. Okay, the second prompt I got is determiners in the title. So things like these, hollow vowels, this woven kingdom, the, anything with that, of, and in it. Those types of things. And we're going to replace that on the board with not usual genre. Okay, third time. Okay, got published before 2020. And we're going to replace that with, what's this one? 2026 new release. That'll be a fun, easy one. Okay, fourth time. We got large book. Oh, that's an interesting way to start out January, but we're rolling with it. So that will be a book over 500 pages long, and we're replacing that one with physical TBR. And then the last game is Kindle TBR. Okay, and we'll replace that one for next time with finish a series. Okay, so that is the board ready for the next play. I think my best friend will be also giving this a go, but I don't think she wants to do it on camera, which is absolutely respectful. We'll just quickly go through what I got again. So I got recommended author, so I need to go and ask a friend an author that they recommend that I should try. I've got determiners in the title, so I explained what that was. We've got published before 2020, which is the hardest one on this list. And then we've got large book and Kindle TBR, which will mean just taking another book off my Kindle that I've had sitting on there, because I participate in all those Stuff Your Kindle days. Got a lot of them just sitting there, so it'd be nice to just get a book off that done. So I'm going to now look into options and I'll be back. Okay, so I am gonna share the books that I've gone and chosen out for these prompts. Hopefully they'll be the answers that I end up picking. Sometimes I will choose books and then find something that's more suitable, or perhaps that book ends up being DNF, so I have to replace it with something. So this is just what I'm hoping to achieve with these prompts, and I cannot remember what order they were in initially on the table, because I took them to the office to figure out what I would like to use as the book. And the first book that I'm going to be reading in January is Empire of Shadows by Jacqueline Benson. This is book 1 in the Raiders of the Arcana series, and this was the book that I've chosen for recommended author. My good friend Millie over at Camilla Reads on Instagram, I'll have her linked in the description, highly recommended me this read recently. I had it on my radar but hadn't yet picked it up. I did end up buying a copy when she recommended it to me, and so I'm going to read that, and it kind of fits in with some of the other readathons that I'm doing throughout the year. So I am participating in Map of Stories, which is being hosted by Leandra, the TBR0, I think that's the name of the account. It's normally TBR-a-thon in January, and this year TBR-a-thon has been extended out to be year long, and so I'm going to be doing the Map of Stories part of that TBR game, or readathon, sorry, and the first month in Map of Stories is historical. So this historical comes with 3 different prompts. Is it entirely a historical fiction? No, this is historical fantasy, and this is very much so like The Mummy type vibes. That's how it's been told to me. So it says, nice Victorian ladies don't run off to find legendary lost cities, and one trifling little arrest shouldn't have cost Ali Mallory her job, but it's only the latest in a line of injustices facing any educated woman with archaeological ambitions. When Ali stumbles across the map to a mysterious ancient city, she knows she's holding her chance to revolutionize pre-Columbian history. There's just one teeny complication. A ruthless villain wants it, and Ali is all that stands in his way. And so she's going to race into the ruins. It sounds very like action-packed. I'm really looking forward to reading this. It is obviously marketed for fans of Romancing the Stone and the Mummy, and yeah, this is going to also be another way to remove a book from my Kindle TBR, but I do have a book for that prompt as well. We'll get into that when we look at it, but this is for recommended author. Second prompt that I'm looking at, this is for large books, so it covers anything over 500 pages. I've chosen to read Tales of a Deadly Devotion by Jennifer Delaney. This is a book 2 in the Tales of a Monstrous Heart series. If you didn't know, I absolutely loved book 1. It was my top read of 2024. So I actually was meant to read this in 2025. Long story short, there was a delay getting this particular book here in New Zealand, so we held off reading it as a book club until January. So I'm already reading it in January, and I checked checked the page count and I'm very fortunate that it's 502. So that's how it works out for this prompt. I'm so glad, because I was a bit nervous that I would have to try and find another book that was quite a lengthy one, but thankfully this book has come through. So this is a this is a sequel to book 1, and we are getting stuck back in where it was left off. 𝓘𝓽𝓮 Woodrow might have survived persecution at the Institute of Magic and journeyed across the divided lands of Elysior to study magic with the legendary Lord Emrys Blackthorn himself, but losing her heart and almost her life wasn't on the curriculum. All magic has a price Alma would rather have died than see Kat pay, but the dark isn't finished with Kat yet, and Alma will stop at nothing to save her, drawing on the power of the beasts that simmer beneath her skin, and even facing the secrets of her own past to help her friend. So Alma is Kat's best friend in book 1 that we meet. She's a side character in that, and in this book she's going to be more of a core character. Really looking forward to different point of views. I know that this has wrecked a few of my friends, so I'm really looking forward to reading this. Like I said, I don't want to give too much more away by reading more of the synopsis, but if you are looking for a really good book that's got Jane Eyre and Howl's Moving Castle type vibes but in a gothic setting, and what else, fae fantasy, so I highly recommend this series. I am going into this knowing that it will probably be a 5-star read for me. Am I jumping the gun by saying that? Maybe, but I have a great deal of faith that it will be, because I absolutely loved book 1. I'm currently rereading it, so I'm fresh going into this book on January the 3rd, because that's the day we start book club. So yeah, that's the second book, and unfortunately the only book that I have a physical copy of for this challenge. Okay, so for the next book we have the next prompt we have is published before 2020. This is probably the hardest prompt on the spinner wheel to achieve, and fortunate for me it's coming in January so I can get it out of the way. I always struggle to read books that are part before 2020 because I'm just so focused on everything that's coming out now, and there's so much to read and catch up on. So this was hard to know what to read. So I was going through my Kindle looking for another prompt actually, and I happened to stumble across something that I've obviously picked up in one of the Stuff Your Kindle days, and it is A Lady's Guide to Kiss a Rake by Tanya Wilde. It is saying on Goodreads that it's book 2 in the Misadventures of the Heart series. There is no mentioning of whether or not this can be read as, out of order, but I think I only have this the second book, so we're just going to go with it. I also am playing a game, like I mentioned, Map of Stories for historical, so it's important for me to try and match that, and this was a historical romance, so I am covering my bases there. So this is about Lady Josephine, and she accepts a wager to lure a kiss from the most scandalous and depraved rake in England, and she thought it was going to be an easy task, but one glimpse at the man in question and she foresees her reputation going up in glorious flames. It will not stop her from winning the wager, however, not even when the vexing Marquis of St. Aldwyn, who is determined to stay firmly planted in her path to victory. And then he is drawn to the reckless Josephine, but actually when he realizes she's up to no good, he'll do everything to stop her from ruining her reputation and keep it intact, kind of thing. So typical historical fiction romance, for me. I don't read often a lot of historical romances, but it sounds good enough, and it was published in 2016, so it completes that prompt, and it's only 289 pages long, so it should be a relatively easy read to get through, so I'm hoping to read that. Okay, so the next prompt on the list is determiners in title, and determiners mean, I think I described it before, but it's things like the, these, this, and those kind of things that help start out grouping a noun together. And so for this prompt, I'm reading A Heart So Green by 𝓤𝓼𝓮𝓷𝓼. This is book 3 in the Fair Folk series or trilogy, and it is coming out on January the 20th, and I am fortunate to have an e-arc of this, so I want to obviously attack some arcs in this game as well. And I'm on the fence about this book, admittedly. So like I mentioned, this is book 3. I really loved book 1. It was so good. Book 2, however, I struggled with. So this is the conclusion to the series. After an explosive finale of the Tournament of Kings, Thea and Irian managed to escape to the wildlands, dodging pursuit of Thea's cunning sister Ayla. With Thea locked in her own mind, battling a powerful celestial entity, Irian must form new alliances to come up with a plan to defeat Ayla's terrifying magic. With both the human and Fey realm under threat, Thea and Irian must pursue their dangerous plan no matter what the cost. And so I wanted to finish the series, so that is why I applied for the arc. And I'm hopeful that this conclusion will sort of just satisfy the end for me a bit more. I was on the fence whether or not to apply for it, and I'm very grateful that I did get it. So I'm going to use that for this prompt here. Okay, and the last prompt was Kindle TBR, and so I went and had a look at what I had on my Kindle. And one of the authors that I recently joined their street team, I really want to hit up their back catalogue, and I found that I had Court of Blood and Bindings by Lisette Marshall on there. I was very fortunate to read The Deaf Maid Prince as an arc in October, and really loved it. It was my top read of the month, and obviously I want to continue to read more from this author, and so I decided that I would pick up Court of Blood and Bindings. This is the first book in the 𝓬𝓬𝓷𝓼 series, and the synopsis says, when the Empire's deadliest Fey murderer catches her wielding forbidden magic, 20-year-old Emmeline believes her hour has come. Instead, her inhumanly beautiful captor spares her life, but carries her off on his velvet wings into the one place from which no human ever returns, the heart of the Fey Isles, the treacherous Crimson Court, where the mother of Fey kind has ruled unchallenged over Fey and humans for decades. The Silent Death is supposed to be the mother's loyal servant, her invincible warrior, her ruthless, soulless killer. But in the shadows, he is playing a game of his own, and he needs Emmeline's magic to win it. If she agrees to work with him, she could free all humanity. But can she trust a Fey male with so much blood on his hands? Worse, when his smouldering dark eyes and dangerous secrets reveal glimpses of the heart beneath his murderer's mask, can she trust herself? So, yeah, that sounds interesting. And I am looking forward to, like I said, getting a bit more invested in this author since I joined their street team recently. So yeah, it'll be interesting to read that book. So that is all 5 prompts now chosen a book for. I obviously have a lot of other things that I need to add to my TBR for January. I have been a little bit too ambitious, I think, with all the readathons and stuff, and so I need to sort of like double up as much as I possibly can with all the reads that I'm doing. But I don't think I have the whole TBR sorted yet, so hopefully in February perhaps this video could go back to how I used to do it, where I would share my entire chosen TBR out for the month, but I just am not prepared yet. So this month we'll just look at the spinner wheel. I hope that you've enjoyed this game, and it has been fun to see the setup and all like playing it and everything. I'm really looking forward to it. It's something different for me, and that's going to spark my interest because the TBR vending machine was fun. but it was getting a little tedious, especially since the lever kept breaking, and so that is why we've retired it. So yeah, this is going to be fun, and let me know if you would like to play along with me. Feel free to choose one or any of the prompts that were picked today, and let me know if you read a book for it. I'd love to make this as interactive as possible, and until we next meet, I will hope you're having fun reading or journaling, and I'll see you in another video very soon. Bye everyone.